this to the camera.
What does that mean?
I don't know. He just went like.
What, the camera's looking at him in the...
He was just sitting down and then he just like went. And I'm currently a 6th-year student about to do the Leaving Cert. I have autism and I'm currently studying history, physics and art as my options. I hope in the future that I will probably pursue art as a career, hopefully. And yeah.
My name is Holly Ennis King. I'm a 6th-year student in St. Wolstan's and I'm about to do my Leaving Cert next month. I study art, home ec and music, and art is my favourite subject, and I hope to pursue art in the future, and I'm also autistic.
I was diagnosed when I was 11 due to the fact that my teachers and my parents were concerned because of my lack of communication. Like I wouldn't look at people when I was communicating with them, or I was like very intent to to play with other kids. The procedure was very long. I had to do a lot of mental and physical procedures and assessments, and then I was diagnosed with autism. I'm quite lucky because I don't have it as extreme as some other people, unfortunately. Yeah.
I was diagnosed with autism when I was 15, so I was in 3rd year, and the diagnosis process was once again very long. It lasted like a good few years, and I went through a lot of assessments and tests, and they couldn't, like whenever I would do an assessment, they said that they couldn't find anything. But then eventually we did my last assessment and then they realised that it was autism after all.
First came into secondary school, my brother warned me not to play by myself because he said there might be some people might make fun of you for that. So I tried to make friends, but due to the fact that I was really confident socializing with most people, I didn't really understand the structure of friends. So I didn't really understand that I had to share friends, and I got really upset about that because I just didn't understand how it was meant to work.
The difficulties that I faced in school were mostly in primary school because I wasn't diagnosed at the time. So a lot of the times the teachers would just think that I was being mean or being lazy, but in reality it was just because I didn't understand. And when I would get into trouble, I would try to ask the teacher why I was getting in trouble, but they just saw that as that I had an attitude or something and that I was talking back. But I wasn't trying to be mean. I was genuinely just trying to figure out what I did wrong. I also faced a lot of sensory problems in primary school with the teachers. The teachers would yell at students quite a lot, so I didn't enjoy that a lot. And the fire alarms at primary school, they wouldn't give like a heads up when a fire alarm would go off. So when it would, it's not that I'd be scared that there was a fire, but I'd be scared of the noise that it would make.
I would say like when sometimes you have anxiety, like you usually have like the flight or fight syndromes, but also you can like freeze. And sometimes when it comes up to a big exam, I would just freeze, like I would just procrastinate, put off things like studying, and that wouldn't really help because that would just be making me do everything at the last minute, which is quite happens regularly. So I guess that's my way of having anxiety. I just freeze. Like everyone has anxiety different ways. So it's not the same for everyone.
In school, luckily, I don't have like as much problems as I once did now that I have my diagnosis. So people are definitely a lot more understanding. But I still do struggle a bit in school with like motivation to study or to do homework and stuff like that. And I can find it very stressful in certain like classrooms or like in exams like settings, that it can just be overwhelming by like the amount of people that are in the room, like when they're whispering or talking. I more hate when people whisper than when they talk. And also like the bright lights in the classroom, because they always have every single light on so you can see your work better, but it's not very nice sensory wise. It's very stressful and overwhelming.
I would say like it is difficult to be a teacher. Like I wouldn't know where to start to be a teacher, like because you have to look after so many students, and so each student has their own like priorities, or you need to push certain students than others. Um, but like I would say, try and build a relationship with this person who has autism, because like it would probably make it better because they you both know like, okay, I need to do this or this for them, for like, because you know like where they need to sit and stuff, because sometimes if you just like move people without warning, it'd be like, oh, tick the box, I've solved the problem here. But in other cases that could just also build anxiety for some students, because some of their friends may not want to move up to the front of the class. They would like go, and they might worry that their friends don't want to be there and be like, oh, I'm the problem, I'm causing this. Also, some students with an autism, they kind of have like a hard time to figure out, where do I start to do a topic sometimes, or like an essay or something like that. And I think it'd be like better if you just give time to help them understand, like try and do like a grid ladder with like step by step how to like to get from here to there in their assignment or something.
The advice that I would give to teachers is to be understanding and not to focus on stereotypes, because not every autistic person is going to enjoy maths, or we're not all like Sheldon Cooper. We're all very different, and it's just very important to remember that autism is a spectrum and not everyone is the same. More advice I would give is to be literal when speaking, because autistic people like myself are very literal thinkers. So if you say like a metaphor or something, we may not understand it. And also to let students leave the classroom when experiencing like something like a sensory overload, because when you have a sensory overload, like too much goes into the brain that it like can't handle it, and it gets very overwhelmed by the amount of input that's being put into the brains. So it's very important that you give the student time to recover from this.
I would say like treat like secondary school as a journey. Like it's just like primary school. You're not gonna be. You're like you change when you're in primary school. You were like from this height to this height in a way. So treat it as a journey. Like you may learn some stuff to help you with your like your anxiety and stuff and your autism, like how to better deal with it. And like, because I used to be really bad for junior cert, but now I feel like I'm better coping with it because I've learned techniques to help with it. And it's okay, you know, it's okay if you do have autism. It doesn't change the fact that you still can do things.
The advice that I would give to younger students with autism is to not be ashamed of being autistic, because it's not an embarrassing or cringy thing to have, because it's who you are. And having like a sensory overload shouldn't be seen as embarrassing, because it's just something that happens, and we all have difficulties throughout our lives, so why should it be seen any different just because you're autistic? And more advice I would give is to embrace and pursue like your hobbies and interests, because who knows, it might lead you to a college and even a career in the future.